Hey there, are you ready to build a fitness business that becomes a true income producing asset? Then I welcome you to the Fitness Business Freedom Show, brought to you by Fitness Revolution. I am your host, Justin Hanover, and we have over 15 years of experience building thriving fitness businesses, and we are committed to sharing our knowledge and expertise with you. You can expect to hear proven business foundations and frameworks, success stories from our coaching partners, and guest experts to give you straight answers for your biggest questions. It doesn't matter if you have an online business, fitness facility, or operate as an independent trainer, you are in the right place to grow your business and create the personal freedom you desire. Welcome to today's episode. I'm your host, Justin Hanover, success coach with Fitness Revolution. Before we dive in and bring on today's guest, I wanted to share a little bit about what you can expect to hear and who I have joining us. So today I have the pleasure of speaking with Sumit Seth. Now, Sumit is a strong believer in the power of human connections and how it has the ability to bring people of different skills together to achieve a common purpose. He was a partner at a staffing firm that he contributed to scale from 15 million to 100 million plus in under 10 years, earning it the recognition of one of the fastest growing and largest staffing firms in the country. He exited that venture to focus on his health, reconnect with his family, and found solace in fitness. So within my conversation with Sumit, it led us down the path of some major bottlenecks for most gym owners, which resulted around communication and system inefficiencies. Sumit has traveled the country meeting with different gym owners, and he shared what he discovered and some of the biggest challenges within our conversation. And we didn't stop there. He also addresses how his software, Naamly, focuses on those challenges and inefficiencies that he saw within the different fitness studios and makes owning a gym easier, more profitable, and more personal. So let's go ahead and get this conversation started with Sumit. Today's episode is brought to you by Fitness Revolution. So you started your fitness business and you've been in the game now for a few years. You might have even seen some good growth over those years, but now you feel stuck. You feel like the momentum you once had just isn't there and you don't know how to get it back. Should you be focusing on your marketing, your sales, or your team? What is the next bottleneck to focus on that will allow you to break the chains holding you back? That is a great question. And one of the biggest skills as an owner is to be able to understand and identify the next biggest issue to keep your business moving. And that is exactly why Fitness Revolution has created our proprietary needs assessment to allow you to quickly see where your business stacks up and receive immediate feedback on what to focus on next. It's a quick 10-question assessment that will be able to provide valuable feedback to get past sticking points and hit your next goal. Whether you are stuck or feeling frustrated with your current progress or just want to dial in what's currently working, this assessment is the first step to making that happen. I invite you to head over to the show notes where a direct link to the needs assessment will be so that you can easily access it there. Now, let's jump into today's show. Sumit, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to spend it with us and helping gym owners succeed.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. So let's start with giving our listeners some context as to like that 1,000-foot overview as to kind of how you became the Sumit that we're speaking with today and how Naamly came into the picture.
Okay. So the Sumit of yesterday years, if you will, was someone who would sit on his seat, and I had a business where we had about 2,000 employees reporting into me in some form or shape. And I had an office pretty much across, the United States, 10 offices across the US. And I owned a staffing company. And however, it sounds really fun. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, but it came at the expense of my health and my relationships with my wife and my kids. I just wasn't there for them. And So financially, we're doing really well. There's a different high of building something. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. So there was definitely that, but then there was this huge void, which I was realizing that I just wasn't there for my family, and my health was getting deteriorated big time. And I think I just came to a point where I decided to focus on my relationships, my family, and my health. And I said, I have to let go of the business. It was the toughest thing to do, did that. And then lo and behold, I found fitness. I found a personal trainer, genuinely changed my life, started working a lot more on my head, my health, and the health in turn helped me to rebuild my relationship with my wife and my kids. So the more I did that and the more I worked out with my trainer, I realized his life was no more different than mine, where he's coming out at 4:30 in the morning. He's away from his girlfriend and he's slogging it away. And then in the nights, he's not there to have dinner because he's busy coaching other clients like myself. And you get really intimate with your personal trainer. I was, we became friends, and I was like, oh my God, man, your life's tough. You must be making good money though, because I'm paying him $100 an hour. Yeah. And he's like, no, Sumit, I got to tell you, I'm struggling here. I got to pay the bills. I got to put I got to keep the lease agreement going. I have to pay for the equipment. It's tough. And then it just hit me that there's everything is wrong about this, because as fitness professionals, like, you're providing the biggest benefit, which is health, right? Yep. And because of that health, people like me, we have a life, we have relationships, and we can do what we can. And yet the trainer himself is not making any money. That is just crazy. And the more I dug into it, I was like, that's because there's lack of systems, there's lack of follow-up, there's lack of support to the trainer per se. And he's trying to Frankenstein solutions together to make things work. In our case, at least, in my prior business, at least I was still making money. So it was, there's something, right? Yeah. You're working hard, but you're getting rewarded. Over here, the reward is knowing that the lives that you're touching. But after a point in time, you realize you do need something to have a quality of life yourself. Otherwise, there's burnt out. And that's exactly what happened. And now, once I found that out, I just found my new business, which was Naamly. Then I was like, how do I bring my skill set and focus on the trainer and helping the trainer succeed? Because the more he succeeds, there are more people like me who will be off of mainstream healthcare. And because fitness is truly healthcare, that's what I genuinely believe in now.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
So that's the background, man.
Okay, so I love the inspiration, because it definitely mimics. I think it fits very well, obviously, just with the fitness space in general, because like a lot of people get into the fitness space and open up gyms or whatever, become independent trainers because they are passionate about helping people and serving people. So I think it's beautiful to see that was the same passion, just in a different outlet for you, but the same passion behind why you decided to create Naamly and go down this path. So it was coming from that same place of serving. And I think that's one of the beautiful things of this space and this industry is that a lot of people are coming from that place. They just generally want to help people and serve people. But as you mentioned already, unfortunately, that sometimes comes at the sacrifice of making what you should be making to be able to live a type of lifestyle that you want to live or that need to live.
So true.
And that's what we want to change.
Yes,
we definitely want to change that. we want happy people in the fitness space serving others, because the more obviously fulfilling it is on both sides, then that's where the impact's going to magnify within the space. So obviously, like, communication, I know is a big part of the platform and kind of like what you do. In terms of everything, like, kind of we've gone through for like gym owners in the gym space, like over this past year, like, have you seen changes in how people are communicating with prospects and clients over the past year?
Oh yeah, 100%. So it's funny, communication can mean so many things, right? Like there's so many aspects to communication. Big picture, the words that you speak, right? The tone that you have, the words that you write. Like, there's a lot of written communication and body language. All of that is all of it encompassing is communication, right? But I guess people forget that communication is not just about leveraging words and body language, but the most important aspect that I believe, well, some of the most important aspects are context. Knowing the context goes a long, long way. And then knowing the personalizing it to build that deep connection. So communication, everything about communication is how do you connect? Because communication is a means to connect, because only when you can connect can you have influence and can you get the person to do things that way you want them to be done. Be it coaching, right? Coaching is perfect. Coaching is all about communication, building that trust, building that rapport, because now that you won that trust over, then you'll be like, yeah, I'm willing to do what you tell me to do because I feel safe. I feel you get me. We're connected. So it's all about driving connection. So I think before, this is also my personal beliefs. I'm biased here, but I think there's a lot of emphasis on, hey, we should have everything on automatic things, right? There should be an automatic drip campaign that goes in. There should be things like people should be bombarded with emails, this and that. And there's a place for it. But I think authentic relationships are built when you have genuine conversations, and genuine conversations happen when you take the time to think about the person, think about that prospect, think about your client and say, what makes him tick? What makes her tick? And then leverage that information to provide that personalized, connection. And that's what we're all about. So we not only say we give you the tools to connect, email, text, phone, video nowadays, so you can see everything, but also give contextual information about the client, their goals, where they're coming from, and you can put in a lot more information about them so you can leverage that and now use that information to build genuine connection. Hopefully that gives you a little bit of color, hopefully.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's a good point, because I do think that is an interesting desire in the fitness space, how people will want automation for thinking that it's going to leverage their time better, but then they're stripping away what actually makes this industry unique is the personalized connection and connecting. And you being like the small gym owner or independent trainer, that personalized connection is what differentiates you from the Pelotons, the Soul Cycles, the Orange Theories, like those big corporate beasts, if you will, that they could never do that. Like that's just not something they would ever consider. And that is like kind of like your secret weapon, is that personalized connection. So I love that how obviously you guys like take that to another level and making that easier, but not replacing it.
So true. And that's the whole idea, because as an independent trainer and or a small gym owner, I guess the question is, how many clients do I really, really need to succeed, right? And what does success look like? And there's a number, right? You can go back and you can come up with that number through capacity utilization, through your space, through the number of clients that you already have. And you'll be surprised. Most people just need a handful more. And they're like, that's all that I need, because if they just stayed there, if they stayed longer and they'll pay longer, then I don't need to worry about putting all that money in marketing and giving it to Facebook and giving it to other places to get that, you want to reduce churn, and you can reduce churn by having those genuine connections built up, right from the prospect to the client. And if they stay longer, they pay longer,
Oh, absolutely. And obviously get better results too.
100%. And that's the other thing.
And it's obviously, and ultimately, like you said, like you're experiencing more of the benefits. Because I mean, if you're having a churn and burn type of thing, then you're never obviously really making the money that you should be making or having the impact that you should have. But I love this approach and how you guys make that easier for people to do that, because I think a lot of it is people come from a good place. Like I remember even myself when I started my gym out, like you come from that place of just like, you just love connecting with people and being top people, and like either one client, 2 clients, 5 clients, 10 clients. And it's like, next thing you know, it's like, you realize like, oh crap, like there's more than I can really handle to keep that pace going, keep that connection. So things start kind of falling off. You don't tend to, but things start dripping off. And it's like, you don't have that same type of level of personalization that's happening anymore. And that in itself can lead to fatigue and obviously burnout, because like you're just, there's really no method to how you're communicating with people, and simplifying that. So I think that's amazing that you guys make that easier for people to be able to do that and actually have more of a process behind it. So there, like you said, like there is some automation, but not in the terms of replacing that human to human connection.
Yep, absolutely. I think, there's another angle that since you were talking about you having a gym, and, when it's only one person, it's still easier to manage up to a certain level. The moment you have a team, and mind you, your team is not working full time. And mind you, your team is not vested in it like you are. So now suddenly things start falling through the cracks even more. And the client is your client. So the whole idea becomes, how do you provide that consistent experience when they're not working with you, but they're working with your staff? So it's like, no, they still come to Justin's gym and they're not just working with Justin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's like, how do we get the team to work like a team? Like, just not staff, individual heroes, but it's a cohesive unit. We all work as a unit. And that's the whole intent. Like, how do we bring people together? And that's what technology should be doing. I really believe is driving and making those human connections stronger, rather than replacing them. That's not the intent. The intent is to bring people together.
Love that. And that's, like, I completely agree. So I'm curious now if this falls into like the next thing I wanted to go into with like kind of like the biggest challenges that gym owners are facing. I know you spent some time shadowing a lot of gyms across the country, and I'm curious as to kind of like what you uncovered from that. Like what were some like the light bulb moments for you, or like kind of like the big, like the challenges that you see these different gym owners facing?
Yeah. So, I've been very blessed that, like you said, gym owners have big, huge hearts. You're like, if I would connect with people more often than not, it'd be like, yeah, come on in. I'll show you what we do. Welcome arms, open arms, come on in. You'll give me the tour, tell me everything. And I traveled across the country. I would take from morning till evening, say how they're really going about doing their day, be it talking to staff, be it training themselves, looking at their systems. And the crazy part is, like, the heart is there, the passion is there. What they're struggling with is there's no solution per se, at least what I found, that was focused solely for them or to them. So it's almost like, what the saying is, you're trying to put a square peg in a round hole or something. Like, so you're juxtaposing things. You're bringing and you're using things that are worked in different spaces, different industries, and you try to put them together, Frankenstein a solution together. And life is tough because it's not only the workout, it's also dealing with the team. It's also dealing with the equipment. It's also dealing with clients. It's also, and the client information, that's the angle we took, was that the information is so fragmented and siloed, right? You have one piece of information sitting in your client management system, be it about their billing or their attendance. And then you have another piece of information sitting about their goals or their body measurements in a spreadsheet out there. Or you have this thing, if you have using something like an InBody machine, that's another system, but it's all over the place. And then some of the common, more mature training gyms were using MyZone, and that's another system. So you have these conglomeration of systems that don't talk to each other, and they have all this data sitting out there, data about your client, that if you could leverage that data, you can genuinely build better connections. And gym owners and the staff are going berserk in downloading reports, running one report over here, running another report there, and then just making it just work. Like, and that's not their job. Job is to train, to coach, to have fun, to, it's not the administrative stuff. Who cares about that? So we took on that challenge, and it was about, like, how do we simplify and streamline those pieces of the business so that coaches could do what they do best, which is train and genuinely change lives and not worry about the headaches of digging through information and finding information.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. And like you just walking through that and explaining that brings back trauma stories for myself of like thinking back to those days of having to do exactly what you just said. And of like all these like, and like you said, that then at the end of the day, it leaves you having all these tools, if you will, that you're maybe half using, like you're not even utilizing them to the best of their ability because you're so overwhelmed. And there's like things all over the place that you end up only using maybe 10% of it, because it's just whatever's the easiest for you to use, and then that's it. And you don't really even bother with the rest of it and the potential that it does have.
So true. So true. Yep.
So let's dive into Naamly a little bit more and like kind of like really showing us exactly how this like platform is helping gym owners win in the current market.
Yeah. So, it's all about simplifying the entire follow-up process. We're a strong believer that the money is always in the follow-up, right? And, we all mean well, but we're all busy and we forget things. But but we can sniff as human beings. When I get a message that is automatic, yes, I get top of mind awareness. Yes, I'll give you that. But other than that, it feels very dry. And I just take a look and like, what the hell? Fine.
Yeah.
That's me as one of your exact avatars. Like I'm the perfect customer because I have a personal trainer. That's whom I work out with. But then I also have people who reach out and they're like, hey, thinking about you, saw this, thought that you would like this because you're into this, whatever. You genuinely want to hang out more with them or you want to do more with them because they took the time to demonstrate that they care. And it's all about that, coming back to our communication piece, it's like, I missed that part out. I said, how do you demonstrate that you truly care? That comes out in the words that you use, the communication part of it. So this is those things. So from an Naamly perspective, what we've done is we simplified the entire process right from the time that prospect comes into contact with you. So you don't lose sight of that contact. You know exactly where that person is in their entire life cycle. You know if you followed up with them, when was the last time you followed up with them? You can, put tasks, reminders, the system alerts you, tells you whether they've had an appointment, whether they've not showed up for their appointment, set show close, it shows you all that. And then once that person becomes a client, if we connect and integrate with your billing and scheduling system, like if you have MindBody or Zen Planner or we connect, we bring that data over. Some places we also act as a VA to bring those pieces of information over. So now we can tell you when was the last time that person came in, because the single biggest driver of continuity is usage in a training gym environment. If people don't use, they will stop coming in. And usage really means attendance. So you can see if this person's coming in or not. And then many gym owners don't even have the time to dig through to find out when was the last time that Justin come in. Or you think about it and say, I haven't seen him in a while, right? And then you realize it's been 3 weeks.
Yeah.
3 weeks, he's gone. He's not coming back now. So if you can catch him sooner and then carrot stick model, some people respond better to carrot and say, hey, listen, what happened? Versus the stick, like, hey, get your butt in here, like, depending on the personality, but that personality, and that kind of leverages person to come in, and the person goes like, wow, you're holding me accountable, because isn't that what we're selling from a training gym perspective and accountability? And now you're really coming true on your accountability promise. So that's what we do. Prospects to client, bring, just give you visibility to when was the last time you connected, where are they really in the life cycle. What all did you say to them? What all did your staff tell them? So you're centralizing the information. We're pulling data from different systems. So now you just have a one-stop shop to see where exactly your customer is, what he's doing or she's been doing, and then use that to just kind of stay in touch with them and keep bringing them back.
I like that. So like you guys pull information from other platforms and like simplify it basically and show exactly what they need to see to know what's going on. because I noticed like that was something that I'm thinking back to myself, like when I had MindBody, like they had reports, but the reports were like weren't that great. They didn't really give you clear information, especially when it came to like really like being able to easily track people's like last visits and things like that when they came in. Like it just wasn't it just wasn't that great.
Yep.
So I think that's so powerful to be able to pull that out and put it on like like you said, on blast, and being like, hey, this is what you need to actually pay attention to. So
Yep.
I was gonna ask you that like integrations with Naamly, like, so like what do you guys, what does Naamly connect with?
So we connect with a number of systems now. We started with just MindBody. We've grown to connect with InBody, MyZone. We connect with MyFitnessPal too now, just because we realized nutrition, that's a big thing. We've opened up our own journals, compliance tracker, so we can send out information so that you can reach out to your clients and say, what's up, or habit forming steps, and just send them a daily this thing if you need to, check in on them. So those are things that we connect and integrate with. And then on the back end, like I said, we give you the ability to connect with your clients through text, email, phone, video, both personalized, individual, as well as mass if you needed to. Like if it's a snow day, or these days COVID, something happened, a lot of our systems in use for that too, to just broadcast, share information, let people know what's happening in their gym and what's going on.
Okay, so it's a one-stop shop for the communication needs, so they don't have to go anywhere else to email, or text, or anything like that.
True. Yep.
I think that's fantastic in itself, because like you said, like what you said before, the whole Frankenstein thing, like that's what it is, because like there really isn't, like you said, they have all these different solutions out there, but none of them want to like interact with each other. So it's like and it gets you like having these 3 different platforms. And at the end of the day too, I think that also just frustrates the client more too, because it's like, oh, you got to download this app and then this app, and then we communicate through this platform, and it's like ridiculous.
Yep. Who needs another app? Like, no one's going to their next page. Like if it's not on your front page, and we already have so many apps like as consumers. So we were very sure we didn't want to build another app. At least for the consumers, we wanted to meet them where they are, which is on their phone. So all our thing is, hey, let's send out that SMS so that it meets them, like it forces you to see it, and or your email because you're living in it, or that kind of a thing. But here's another thing, as you were talking about it, which I take a lot of pride in, is one thing is, yes, you acted on it. Like, let's say I reached out to Justin. And I reached out to you and I've sent you messages and I've sent you messages, but you've not responded back to me. You're not engaged with me, right? Most platforms that, at least from the grounds up that we did research on, they're really good about showing that we sent it out. They're open rates and we sent it, but no one tells you, is Justin really engaged with you? Is he coming into your facility? Is he even talking to you? Forget coming in as attendance, but I sent a message to Justin. Does he even respond to me? Right? And our system tells you that. Our system gives you a visual cue to tell you, hey, you sent out X messages week on week. Justin doesn't come back to you. So let's change up something. Maybe it's the guy who's reaching out. Maybe it's the language that you're using. Maybe it's the medium. Maybe you've just been emailing him or texting him. Maybe it's time to pick up the phone and call him, or whatever, right? Like, those are very important pieces that bring the whole communication gambit together. It's just not one medium over the other.
Okay, that's awesome. That brings that type of level of insight and awareness to the forefront, so you can make adjustments, because it doesn't do any good. You just keep doing the same thing, but it's not working.
Exactly. And you don't even know if it's working or not, right? Because you're like, I did my job, I tasked, I did it, I sent it. But as an owner, as a GM, if you have those people, and you can look in, and now you can see which staff of mine is really getting the most engagement. And what is he doing different than other people? Let's talk about it. Let's make that my team agenda. Let's make that a learning session, because now I have data. Now I can see things. Seeing things as one of the first things that you need to be able to start making change, because you can't make change if you don't know what the hell what's happening, right? So
No, that is very true. And I like, ultimately, like, the stuff that you help like gym owners with and within their businesses is like, this is what really like truly makes a great business. It is like focusing on these things. It's not obviously like the flashy stuff, whatever, but being able to like make even like the smallest critique of like how you're even reaching out to somebody can drastically like change the business, like the direction of the business as it starts. You're like, okay, that you make a pivot and adjustment, and say it brings 2 more people back into action that weren't engaging before, and then you compound that every month that you're doing that, and it's like it totally changes the direction of your business. And that's what I want people to focus on as they're listening to this, and like really pay attention. Like, if you're really looking to build a real business and a solid business that lasts 10, 20 plus years, like, this is the stuff that needs to matter. Like, this is what is going to basically, I said, build a solid business or not. Like, or do you have cracks in your business that you aren't even aware of?
So true.
If you're not aware of them, then you can't fix them.
Yep, very well said. I think it's many times we think it's all about sales and marketing and all. And while those are important, I think we forget that it's the mundane, monotonous, boring things in business that solidifies the business, right? And it all comes down to operations and executions. It's all about ops. How well do you run the machine, right? And without losing the human touch, of course. It's a machine, but the machine is geared to bring in that human touch, if you will. So how do you do that? That's really the crux of it.
Definitely. Absolutely. And I think it's where the most falter in. I mean, just with our human nature, obviously, if we leave it to our own selves, then we're probably we're going to fail pretty bad at that, because it's just, obviously it's more exciting, like you said, to focus on the creating and the designing and the building aspect of a business and what that involves, like sales and marketing, things like that. But then when it comes down to this stuff, it can seem not as appealing, but this is really where real businesses are made, and it goes from just being a hobby or a glorified job to being an actual like business that's an asset to your life.
Sure. Yep.
So I'm curious, where do you see like the future for Naamly? Like, kind of like as we, like, obviously, I mean, technology is only getting more advanced and stuff in this space. I mean, like, do you see any changes with Naamly moving forward? Or is there, I don't know, is there anything else on the horizon and coming down the pipeline?
Oh yeah. That's the thing about, like you were talking about, human nature, and you're never done, right? It's always evolution. It's always learning. It's always a little bit of more of this or a little bit of less of that. I think we're very guilty that we all want more. It would be nice if we did more of this and more of that and more of this. We over at Naamly, we also take a very conscious look at about what should we be doing less of? What are things that we thought would be useful but are not being used? Or, what can we do to cut as well, and keep it razor focused all the time. So for us, it's all about, the driving force for us is, how do we provide that consistent client experience always? And how do we provide that to our gym owners, to our clients? And in turn, how do we help our system be used to provide that for their clients, right? That consistent client experience. And we look at it all the time, and we keep asking, we do our surveys, we talk to clients, we listen to them, and that pretty much decides what we're going to be always working on next. And we take a combination of, we do every 6 months, we roll out 3 things essentially. 2 of them come from these surveys, from what a client says, and 1 of them is internal, right? Because, we also what we are learning and what we're trying to piecemeal together, like, it would be nice if we did this. and we tried, and of course we failed multiple times. I'd be lying if I said we got it all right, Justin. We didn't.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't. But some of the best things that we've done, some of the things that makes it more the stickiest, are some of those things that fall in that third quadrant, where we just kept our ears on the ground, listened to everybody, and came up with something that has gotten us a wow. Always, like I'll give you an example. So I'm sure you see this, right? If you have, you get messages from, I'm assuming, professionally, personally, right? You get those messages, right?
Oh, yeah.
And does it happen that you read that message and then you make a mental note and say, I'll get to it, and then you just forget about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh,
happens, right?
Especially if you can't unread it.
Especially if you can't unread it. Yes. And you can't do that with messages. So I'll give you two. So that's just with an individual. Now let's blow that up. Let's say, like, some of our clients previous to Naamly, they even invested in a personal gym phone, a gym cell phone, right? Now multiple people are using it, but then again, the same thing. If it's meant for Justin and not meant for Sumit. So we're in between shifts, or you don't work that day. Like, it's very difficult to keep going back and looking up and all that, right? So what we built is the system. How cool would it be? That's how we said, like, how cool would it be was the tagline that we had, and we came up with the brainstorming sessions. And one of those things that we built and we brought to life was, how cool would it be if the system told you that these messages require a response, whereas these messages, they don't require a response. Remember, everything's contextual. So we've built in some primitive AI that tells you that, like, it doesn't read the message, but it kind of gets it. So if it says, Justin, great job, thank you for this, it doesn't say anything. But if it asks you something and say, hey, Justin, can you let me know when I can do this? And you skimp over it, glance over it, the system reminds you that there's something that you're supposed to be doing, and it acts like a virtual admin that way. And that's cool, right? That's pretty cool.
Absolutely.
We love that. We love that capability.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. So things like that is something that we take a lot of pride in. I know there's no point talking about a feature, but it's the difference between people be like, I don't know how you guys do it. You're a big team. You got 300 members like us, and you're on top of everybody. We just love it. And those are the wow factor that we hear about from our clients, and that just brings a smile to our faces.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's powerful. Like that shifts lives and it shifts businesses, and it's just little things like that it's like that you guys are so in tune with the gym owner. It shows with like features like that, to be able to make sure that they're on top of everything, and that they're winning. Like, they can, like, kind of like, I always tell people, when it comes to like tools and team, like, you need to run it through the lens of, like, how is this helping the business grow, and how is this leveraging your time better?
Yep.
And if it's doing those things, then it's probably something worth looking at.
No, 100%. I absolutely agree. Absolutely agree. Yes.
So I love that, and I love that Naamly is that solution and provides that for gym owners, and to be able to, like I said, like, run the gym how they want to run it, and that they know it should be, but obviously it's beyond just one person type of a role with how that interaction happens. So I think it's fantastic, and I definitely have been appreciating your time in this conversation, you being able to share insights into Naamly and how you even got into this space. But as we work towards wrapping up, as I mentioned to you before we hopped on, I like to kind of end with kind of getting your perspective on this. If like a gym owner came to you, based on your background and where you've come from and your wisdom that you've gathered over the years, what do you feel is the most important thing for that gym owner to hear?
Ooh, that's loaded, man. I think it all depends upon which phase, where you are in the journey, and where you want to be next, right? We're all in the spectrum of evolving, getting better, and wanting to do something meaningful and purposeful, right? So for some people, it might be, I am starting afresh now. What all should I be doing? And I have these tools already in place. Less is more at that time. You don't need a 10th tool. Maybe you don't even need us. It's okay. It's good. You know, like, what's the bare minimum? The bare minimum is, do you have 5 clients to begin with? Can you just make a huge impact on their lives? And now you got success stories that you can build on top of, right? I think FR has a great way of demarcating people in different segments. It really just depends upon where you are. Hey, I now have a team with me, and now I'm trying to make the team work better, and I want to get out of the business and work on it a little bit more. Don't want to be training myself. I just, that kind of thing. Then the response is going to be different. So I think, it's a loaded question, because there is no one cookie cutter response, Justin. I wish there was. There isn't. There is no magic bullet, or magic pill. There is nothing like that. It's the environment. It's where you are, where you want to go, and the resource or the constraints that you have to deal with. And all those 4 pieces put together decide. And I think that in the center, though, is your own self-awareness. Like, you need to know, what am I good at and what am I bad at? Where do I need help? Where I don't need help? And the tenacity that you bring to it, along with, of course, the passion that you have for the space. So not a clear answer. I'm sorry, but it just.
Well, I think that's why I always like asking. It's just interesting to see people's perspective on it. But I think there definitely isn't one clear answer to that. And while you were talking, I was definitely like, okay, like it basically, what it comes out, like you said, is self-awareness. And I think that's a massive thing. I think that the more obviously self-aware you are, ultimately, that generally leads to better decision making. And understanding that. So I think that's a great way to wrap up this amazing conversation. And is something I really appreciate you again taking the time to hop on here with us and express one, obviously your passion for this space, and then also your passion to serve the gym owners, and how Naamly is a big part of that. And so I really appreciate that. Now, for those that want to learn more, want to connect with you personally, or engage and find out more about Naamly, how do they go about doing that?
Yeah, so if they want to reach out to me, my email is Sumit, SUMIT, @naamly.com, NAAMLY.com, and check out the website, www.naamly.com. That's another way they can get to know what Naamly does. I'll send you a link as well if there's a way to put it out there to give a good bird's eye view of what the system can do as well. So they know exactly, we talked a little bit about it, but seeing is believing. So they can also see what it does. And I'm happy to share that with you too. But yeah, we're just blessed that a lot of training gyms, the ones that have been doing more than $1 million a year, like that seems to be the coveted, the gold standard, if you will. And we have a lot of $1 million gyms who use us, right from the Cosgroves to Mark Fisher to Sperling Fitness to Todd Durkin. We're very, very blessed that we've got great people using the product, giving us great inputs, giving us great insights, leveraging it for their gyms, and that's how we learn too. We continue to learn and see what we can do better and to serve better. So yeah.
I love that. That's obviously a testament to you guys to have kind of brands like that a part of Naamly, and working with you. So if you're at all intrigued and this piques your interest even a little bit, check them out. Go and check out Naamly, connect with Sumit, and reach out. Find that there is a solution for your problem, and it's right there in front of you. And we'll easily have the links for you in the show notes as well, so you can easily go ahead over there if you're not in a place right now to check it out at the moment. No problem. It will be in the show notes, so you can easily either connect with Sumit or check out Naamly. and start providing a better solution for your gym to run more efficiently, like we said, without losing that personal connection. But thank you, Sumit, again. Really appreciate your time. And also, I want to thank you, the listener, because obviously we wouldn't have a show if you weren't listening. And so we definitely appreciate you taking the time to do that, and that you're looking for ways and resources to improve your business. That's so important as we move forward on this journey, and we're honored to be that resource for you. With that being said, we thank you so much, and we look forward to seeing you join us on the next episode of the Fitness Business Freedom Show. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode on the Fitness Business Freedom Show. On behalf of Fitness Revolution and myself, we are thrilled you are looking for ways and resources to move your business forward, and we are honored to be that source for you. If you would like to receive more business building support from us, be sure to head over to the show notes and join our subscriber list and stay on top of all the industry insights that matter most to you. Now, before I close out today's show, if you found this episode beneficial in any way, I just ask you to leave us a simple review to help other gym owners find us and discover this show. Thank you so much, and I will see you on the next episode of the Fitness Business Freedom Show.